Hi guys, welcome in. I am so excited about my shirt today. I gotta say, it's a pup gift. That's my sister. She gave me this for Christmas. It's like a chenille, really soft sweater, and then look at that cute little detail on the sleeve. I love little surprises like that. We're gonna talk about the glitter experience in this video. In the month of December, I took part in a little something we like to call 31 Days of Glitter. It was my friend David's idea. He's a makeup artist. He will always come out of the woodwork with a brilliant thing that usually changes my perspective and my whole makeup outlook. Just always something that's gonna fire me up, you know? And so he asked if I would want to take part in this with him because he was gonna do it for 31 days, posting on his Instagram all of his looks, and I did the same. I actually have them all compiled on a highlight on my Instagram. So if you go to my profile page above the whole feed of pictures, there are some little circles with different titles, and one is called Days of Glitter. So you can look at everything I've done for 31 days there, and I will also link to David's Instagram below where you can see what he did. And something you should know, like going into this, I was not necessarily a glitter lover. In fact, I feel like I was really critical of glitters. I'd run across that texture in a certain palette or a product and I would almost immediately write it off. And here's a moment where as a reviewer, you've got to look back on yourself and say, hey, like, are you just making a snap judgment? Are you just acting on a first impression when you talk about certain products that way? Or do you really want to deeply learn something about it and speak from a place of experience? And that is what this process let me do. It's always easier to make the quick judgment. It's harder to really study something, learn about it, invest that time, and then share your conclusions. And I feel like this would be a great method for so many things. Just different things you want to learn about. The glitter stuff really forced me to incorporate different products and also techniques to make those products work. But just generally speaking across your collection, if you really want to learn about something, do it for a month or at least a couple weeks straight. And I think you will definitely come out with some knowledge as a result of it. Because I started the deal semi-resenting glitter and I came out on the other end feeling like here's a beautiful element of makeup that I now know how to use really well. Not calling myself a pro or anything, but I've got some tricks. So in this video, I thought I might highlight some of my favorite looks that I did and the products that were used, some of my favorite kinds of products, the easier ones to work with, the fussier ones to work with, and also the things that didn't work so well for me. And I feel like throughout the challenge too, I kind of had it in the back of my mind, just my overall goal. I felt like I was trying to keep the glitter wearable. I wanted the glitz and glamour, but I also wanted it to be kind of approachable and maybe a look that somebody could glance at and say, I think I can redo that. That looks like something I'd be comfortable to wear out of the house. That was kind of in the back of my mind for me. I still felt like many of these looks turned out super glam, but the glitter wasn't out of control. A lot of times I was just heading out to pre-K drop-off after doing these looks, you know? And there's another thing I want to preach about for a moment, the fact that it really does not matter what you're doing with your day. Like, glitter is okay anytime. You don't have to be like, well, it's not New Year's Eve, so I just can't really see putting that on right now. Like, no, you can do it anytime. Who cares? I was shopping at Aldi the other day with a glittery eye look and the cashier was like, that is beautiful. I was like, thank you. But anyway, this has all been fun. I can't say thank you enough to David for just bringing this idea into my life because I think I will implement the overall concept in other ways too to help myself learn more about makeup because I think that's where we're at a loss really in this beauty community. This, I think, self-imposed need to get everything out so quick, like reviews, and we just gotta talk about it right away before we actually even know what we're saying. And you know, everything's all about the swatches. It's not about like, let me just actually wear this in my real life. Give it a lot of tries so I can actually speak from experience about something. This is where the real knowledge is passed along, my friends. So another thing with pictures, a lot of the days with my 31 Days of Glitter, I would take a picture and I would maybe also try to snap like a boomerang, which is kind of like just a little quick video clip that might show the twinkle a little better. It's really hard to capture some of this stuff on camera, and a lot of days I just didn't have the time to really slave over it, and I didn't want to drive myself crazy with it anyway. But a lot of times the glitter effect was even more brilliant in person than I was able to pick up on my camera. And lighting is a big thing because you'll do your look in full lighting, and then sometimes it's the dim lighting where the glitter or the shine actually shows even more. But enough backstory. I'm gonna let some of my favorite looks sort of guide the discussion from here on out. talking about products that worked well. An overall product that was so important was glitter glue. Like, this is the real MVP here, and I know other brands make stuff like this too. I know NYX makes it, but this is from Too Faced, and the consistency is so smooth. Like, when you first squeeze it out of the tube, it feels just really nice and creamy, but you can tell as you glide it across your lid, there is a tackiness, a real tackiness that develops there. And so that helped grab so many of the powder glitter type products that I might have been using. One look that I really loved was on day 5 when I used one of these MAC Shiny Pretty Shadows. I've got a couple of them pulled out here, but these are really good. They're a pretty darn concentrated fine glitter that's embedded in a like metallic, in some cases kind of iridescent eyeshadow. So it's a really nice execution of glitter fused into an eyeshadow. And so on that day, I set up my look in a very normal way. I used the Profusion Sienna's palette, gave myself a really warm kind of backdrop, and then went on my lid with the glitter glue, giving this kind of shadow something to really adhere to. And I thought the finished look was just so dazzling. I feel like things cling to the glitter glue so nicely. Sometimes I use my fingers. A flat brush seemed to work fine with these though. A regular primer just doesn't grab things the same, and I feel like the glitter glue also gives me really good longevity throughout the day. Now, one thing to note, there's no point in building up your shadow too much when you're going on top of this stuff, because then it's not clinging to glitter glue, it's trying to cling onto itself, which isn't probably going to work that well. So that's when I think you have the fallout and the trickle down sort of as the day goes on. So just apply enough product to where you feel like, yeah, I've got a nice full coating, a full opaque look, and then don't build these sparkly shadows upon themselves any more than necessary. Now, it wasn't all eye looks. I tried to sprinkle in some lip and cheek looks too, and on day 6, I worked in something that I've actually got a little bit of it on my lips today. It's this Milani Hypnotic Lights, and it's called a holographic lip topper, and it's a really super fine glitter that's suspended in, I guess, a gloss consistency, although it has a little bit of dryness. Like, it's not a super goopy, wet look product, and when you put it on, it almost dries down just a little bit. Like, I put it on top of a matte lip, and you're always going to have more contrast when you put it on top of matte. That may have been the mistake that I made on day 6, because I was trying so hard to get the contrast and the impact to pick up on camera, but I was putting this on top of a metallic lipstick. You put this on top of a matte like I did today, and I think you get even more contrast. But this is a really beautiful product, and what I did on that day, I even took like a loose glitter from NYX and dabbed it furthermore on top of this to get even more shine. So just one possible approach for a glitter lip there. One of my very favorite looks from the whole month might have been on day 9 when I did a glitter liner, and it was this beautiful kind of bluish purple shade from Urban Decay. It's their Vice Special Effects, and the shade is called Monarchy. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a concentrated glitter, and they give you this pointed brush tip applicator that makes it easy to line with, or you could like dab some off on your hand, pick it up with a flat brush if you wanted it like all over your lid space, but it applied really well in a concentrated way as liner. So I just did typical black liquid liner with a wing, and this could not have been easier. I just went right over the top of that line with this stuff, and it didn't take a lot of building up to get that beautiful effect. I just thought it turned out so nice, and it was a fun, just like subtle twist on my liner. Not every single shade from this Urban Decay Vice Special Effects line is the same. There are some that are more like, they're not quite so like metallic effect on the eyes like this is, because the sparkle's so fine in here. For example, this one in Fever, if I look closely at the product, I feel like I'm seeing a little bit larger glitter, and if you actually pull it out and look at it, it's more like a gel-like sheer color. This was very concentrated sparkle, concentrated color. It also wore beautifully, no trouble there. On day 10, I combined a couple of top products. One of them is my Visi Grande Pro 2 palette. This contains so many fun opportunities. This was such a great companion on multiple days for this challenge. You can see some colors in here, like I don't know if you can tell in that row that obviously contains some glitter. There's some over here as well. There are also just some overall dazzling shimmer type colors that work so beautifully alongside any glitter thing that you're gonna do. And it just inspired some different looks. Really like the greens in here. So on that day I did something called Earthy Glam, and I worked in some of the green sparkle on the lower lash line, and then on the top part of the eye I kind of set things off with a liquid glitter. This one is a mini from Stila called Smoldering Satin. Absolutely absolutely dazzling stuff. I love using this. If you're wanting a really user-friendly, easy way to integrate glitter, get one of these from Stila. They typically come in larger sizes and they set, they don't go anywhere, but you can like do up your eyeshadow look however you want and then like go across your lid with this super sparkly, pretty effect. And this smoldering satin kind of can work with any look. It's a very silvery glitter, very highly concentrated in like a champagne creamy color. Also, you'll see these come up in a minute, but these from Too Faced are pretty similar to that as well. They're called liquid glitter eyeshadows, and anytime I pulled these in, I just felt like I got instant impact, didn't take a lot of building up or anything, and the glitter really stayed in place. Day 11, I did a really bold lip, and it came from Revlon, their like Vivid collection or whatever they call it. It's called Lip Lacquer in 100 Watts Pink, and this is probably the brightest pink I've ever seen. It has a very, very fine sparkle in there, and when I say fine sparkle, like you've really got to look closely to pick up on it here, but sometimes it looks a little bluish and sometimes it looks a little bit golden, so it's very cool. And the product sets a little bit on the lips, which I wasn't expecting. For some reason, just seeing the product packaged this way and being from Revlon, I thought, oh, that'll be just like a glossy type thing. No, this was in it to win it. It lasted a really long time and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it looked really brilliant on the lips. Day 13 was a day that I was really having trouble photographing the look and showing off the look and making it look as good as it was in person for me. But this shade from Too Faced, it's called Macchiato Madness. If you are feeling hesitant about glitter, get your glitter in a neutral type tone like this. This is so fun because the glitter reflects kind of golden, maybe a little bit greenish, but also there's little purpley sheen in there as well. And I just put this on my lower lash line. This is the format. Okay, it's a doe foot applicator. And then I have this great little brush from e.l.f. It's called the Small Precision Brush. It came from their cut crease kit. They may sell it individually. It's little, it's flat. I could just pick up some stuff off of this brush and then pull it across the lower lash line and have an instant like little glitter pop on the lower lash line. Another way I would use this brush is to actually apply the glitter glue across the lower lash line with this, and then I could go forward and use any glitter eyeshadow I wanted to top it off. So that was a very handy brush. Another great brush also from that cut crease kit was this flat eyeshadow brush. Not really because this particular brush is so super special, but just look for something that's about that flat because that gives you a ton of control with the glitter. And it gets flatter as it gets toward the tip, which I really like. But with some glitters, you're gonna find your finger is just gonna work best to get them laid down. On day 14, I did a glittery type cheek highlight, which I was kind of hesitant about. This would be the one avenue of glitter where I'm like, ooh, you know, I criticize so many products, so many highlighters or blushes that embed the glitter because I feel like across the cheeks it looks kind of unintentional, sometimes kind of messy, but on that day I decided to go for it and I actually used a creamy base. This is something from RMS Beauty and it's called Living Luminizer, but think of any kind of just cream consistency highlight that might leave a little tack on the skin and also a little shine so that when that glittery powder highlight hits it, it really sticks. And I thought the look was absolutely stunning. And I've definitely found a highlight that I have loved using here. It's from MAC. It's the Extra Dimension Skin Finish in Snow Flushed. It looks like it's got a little bow on there and it sometimes looks golden, sometimes looks pink. I've got it on today with no base and it's so fresh and so shiny. You might not even detect the glitter at all times, but look at that swatch up close and it is like a fine sparkle all throughout this product. So it really responded to being layered on top of a cream. The shine was just so profound and I really enjoyed that look. Now I've already done a whole video on the Too Faced Pretty Rich collection, but this palette definitely supplied me with a couple of awesome looks for this challenge. And one of them was on day 15 when I worked in a lot of this glittery shade. There are 4 glitters in the palette and I found that these really applied well with my finger. It might be just the way they're packed in there, but I had a lot of control with my finger and taking this glitter and also this one across the lid, like the effect was so gorgeous. And I liked that the palette also supplied you with plenty of mattes to kind of complete the look. So that worked really well. Again, I was using glitter glue underneath. That really helped grab the shadow. And then on day 17, I used the palette again and I worked in some of the bluish tones and that look like That was yummy. I love the different way those lids would catch the light and sometimes look a little bit goldeny, a little bit bluish, almost verging on purpley. Like, it was such a pretty look. And I do have a tutorial on that look that ended up in another video, so I will link that below. Here's another look that I loved that is in a Get Ready With Me video, and it's the one where I used my Once palette along with this liquid glitter from Too Faced called Strawberries and Champagne. And so that was a fusion of light pink and dark green. So I was working in corduroy from my Once palette, and then I was coming inward from that inner corner with this really like silvery pinky glitter, and I loved the finished look there. It was so glam. My final top look would have to be the last day of this challenge. I mean, I had stuff going on my lips. I used the Milani. I was wearing my MAC highlight on my cheeks. I was wearing my Visi Grande Pro 2 on the eyes. That day I was wearing a lot of these purpley shades. I think also this color too, which was so dazzling and kind of unexpected. Sometimes it looks a little bit bluish, a little bit pinky, a little bit plum too. This sparkly pink was also a factor in that look, but it was just so reflective and stunning. Oh, and by the way, who could forget day 30 when Bub swiped my Tarte body glitter across my cheek because I was throwing up that day and I couldn't even manage to get off the couch. Thanks, Bub. Frankly, days 30 and 31 were both a bit of a challenge, but I had to come in strong at the end, and I thought that day 31 look was just, that will inspire me going forward. Let's talk about some things that were not so strong here. One thing that was kind of in the middle for me was actually this glitter mascara from Hard Candy. It's called Be Bold, and I have it in the shade Disco Ball, which just looks like straight up silver glitter. And I wore this on Christmas, I believe it was, and I had false lashes on, and then I layered this up, and I kept layering and layering, like 4 or 5 coats, and I thought I should have been getting a little more impact. Then I went into different lighting and was able to get a good shot that showed all of the twinkle, and it actually was kind of pretty. So it depends on what you're going for. If it's subtle, just gentle twinkle across the lashes, it's gonna do that for you, but it's not gonna make your lashes look like solid glitter. So just FYI. Also, on several different days, I played with the Hard Candy Glitter Otzi Press and Play. So this is like a matte or metallic liquid lipstick that you're gonna put on, let it set, and then when you press your lips together, it's going to expose the glitter that is embedded within that product. And it's kind of a cool thing, and it comes off cool in the moment on camera, but I do not like the way that these actually wear throughout life. Same with this Ciate glitter flip. I wore that kind of late in the game. The color's called Infamous. Can we all recognize, if we've ever done a true glitter lip, that it's just for a temporary effect? Like, that's not for the practical, I want this to look perfect all day type of people, because it just doesn't do that. It looked kind of crusty and really dry and just not so attractive. I don't know if I wore this in the challenge or just before the challenge started. Actually, I tried this more neutral shade, and it was just not really working for me. If I'm gonna wear glitter on the lips, I want it to be either part of a gloss or so fine in that liquid lipstick that it's not gonna look super drying on my lips. A couple of liquid shadows that didn't really impress me that much were also from Hard Candy here, the Glitter Otzi Liquid Sparkler. This kind of left me feeling like, what the heck? It basically wasn't glitter. It was just a very sheer veil of like light pinky looking shimmer across the eye. So I wasn't getting any real effect that I could pick up on camera or even really see in person, frankly. Using this in the technique that I've mentioned before, where you do your powder look however you want, you know, get your crease color going, whatever, and then pop something on the lid, I felt like this diluted my powder look. It just looked like it erased what I had done instead of applying this beautiful thick glitter veil over it all, you know? And also didn't really love the metallic lights from Milani. That kind of did a similar thing, because instead of being like the Stila or like the Too Faced where the glitter is so concentrated that you're definitely gonna see it with one little pass, this is a very unconcentrated glitter within a metallic liquid shadow. So the glitter comes off looking very dispersed, and if you're trying to build it up for a glitter effect, you're gonna be spending a long time with it. Day 29 was when I was really messing around with those, and I was not a huge fan. But glitter palette wise, a few different ones that made it in. Like I mentioned, the Pretty Rich, that gave me some stunning looks. I also, when I reviewed that, I was talking about how unique it was to have a palette where glitter was embedded within some like matte shades and other textures. But my Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction palette does do that also. And today I'm wearing this color on the lid, a little bit of the plum in the outer corner, and then I used some of the more pinky shades from the Huda Beauty palette, some of the mattes to help me out there as well. But this came in late in the game also. Gave me a really brilliant look actually the day after the challenge wrapped up was when I shot that What I Got for Christmas video, but this is a fun one, and these shades, while maybe they're not straight up glitters, they're very like statement kind of shimmers. And then you got those couple glitters in there as well. But wow, this has been so much fun, you guys. I've learned so much about, like I said, the application of glitter, what makes it work best, what products are easiest, some things that I definitely want to do more of going forward. But I would love to know your favorite glitter tips and tricks and also products that you swear by, because if anybody's coming to this video, they could probably be helped out by any additional comments you can share. I'm no pro at this. I'm just a person who is obsessed with using makeup and learning more all the time. So thank you so much for sharing in the fun with me. Thank you, David, for bringing up this challenge to begin with, because it really, it was fun, and December was a really fun month to do it. And also it didn't interfere too much with the typical videos that I wanted to do, because I could talk about this or that, and if I wanted to be testing out a certain eye palette, I'd just do something other than a glitter eye look for a couple of days and work in the glitter in different ways, you know? But so fun. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.